Yeah, dig. So I'm thinking about how we'll do it, you know what I mean? Different parts, different, because I'm going to talk to a lawyer, too.
Now, whatever that one guy that was saying all that stuff.
Yeah, because I sent that to her, too. I think I said that to you, too.
Wow.
Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Oh. No.
I didn't send that to you.
No, I don't remember getting it.
He was way off base on some stuff.
I don't know.
Did you think it was off base as well?
Yeah, I told you. Because it just doesn't start with the child support order going out and then you go to jail. You're missing court dates. There's a warrant out for your arrest, obviously, because that's how the process goes with whatever.
Okay.
If you're missing something, so they can stop you for something as small as a ticket. There's a warrant, they getting you.
And like the proof, like paternity, like I had to have a paternity test for my second daughter. I mean, because we weren't married at the time. Who gets pregnant by their ex-husband?
Right.
My wife.
Huh?
My wife. My third son came while we were divorced, and she had a 10-year IUD. Fun.
10-year IUD.
It's an implant, birth control.
Yeah, I know what it is,
Yeah.
sir. I'm saying you got that super slave sperm if you just,
Right through it.
boom, knock them out.
Stop it.
Straight up.
Okay.
Guess who's pregnant?
Congratulations!
Okay, because
it happens,
we didn't
bro.
have to.
Oh, you didn't have
It's the best thing that ever happened to us.
We didn't have to. It was just.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing, bro.
Yeah, he was meant to be here, bro.
Hell
You get
yeah.
assistance,
I mean,
it's whoever.
how can you argue against that?
You have some of those women out
You know what I'm saying?
Fought through divorce and
But that's
such
like he was saying
consequences.
something like how these women can just
You
go
better
put some dude's name on it. and
Start
they
a
can start
bill
paying,
or
but I'm
you
like,
better invent something, sir.
well then if I was the
That
guy,
would
I'd be like,
be-
well, I
he's
want a
gonna go
DNA
into
like
special
swab me
forces
because if I'm
in
not
the White
gonna
House
be paying on
prison
somebody
if you
that
mess
I don't
up.
think
You got
is
a
my
hellified
kid.
story
There's a lot of
already.
states like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
If
that's
the
a-
guy is taking care of the child, say he and the woman get together, or he could, well, I'm not even gonna say he can sign the birth certificate. Yeah, you're taking care of kids that aren't yours. It happens all the time.
That's crazy. I wouldn't do it.
No, I'd be saying I'd swab my
Oh.
cheek, do whatever.
Ray Caruth, son. Ray Caruth.
You imagine if they had birth control
Sad
for men.
story,
Right?
Sorry.
They should.
They would. Oh, they pissed some women off. I was saying,
What would?
what if they had birth control for men?
I would take it.
Be like,
Wait, as long as everything
That
else
would
is
be-
still cool, like what are the drawbacks? What are the hormone drawbacks? What's happening?
Yeah.
Huh?
Be the most profitable company in history.
increased level of estrogen.
Well, I'll be crying. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, you'll be fitted for
You
a
get
ride.
crazy.
Uh-huh.
You be throwing shoes at your kids for not getting ready for
that's
school.
that's an awful that's an awful trade-off. I'm not doing
Yes,
that
it
shit.
It's either that or child support. You take
Yeah.
the pick.
What?
You
Man,
have
those,
experience
what is
there.
this world that you live in? That you just no. It's awful.
You already put it audio, bro. What's that? You already got audio, bro.
Yeah, everything's going.
Okay.
Oh, whenever y'all ready.
Nice shot. Just double checking now.
Right on.
Yep, you good, man.
Cool. Are we ready?
Ready?
That's what's up. Okay, so as I promised, I wanted to get two women here to speak about child support. We want to do like a full child support panel with two women and two men, and then do another part where we're actually speaking to an attorney. And the purpose of it is to, remove myths and misconceptions and let people speak from their perspective. So I don't know much about it, so I have opinions, but I don't know a lot about it. So we got two ladies here who are going to educate us from their perspective, and then we're going to follow up with two men as well. But starting off, we got Lindsay, friend of mine, and Kathy. Both have children. Both have obviously dealt with child support, and that's it. We just want to get into it, so we'll start with Lindsay.
All right. So what do you want me to?
What's up?
What do you want me to talk about first?
Like what misconceptions do you think are out there with child support?
I think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that it's always in favor of the mom, that the women always get, what we want or whatever, and that's definitely not true, and there's also, there's what do I want to say? There's a Form 14 that the lawyers use to fill out, like based on like the father's income, the mother's income. So it's not like you can just go in and say, I want this, much money, and a judge is going to be like, all right, here you go. So I think there's a lot of people out there that just think that, I don't know, that women take advantage of it or that we get what we want, when in actuality I think there's a lot of like struggling moms and dads too, for that matter. Depends on who's paying the child support, I guess.
Yeah. So how did you have to end up dealing with child support?
So I had to end up doing the wage garnishments or whatever because he wasn't paying, So the wage assignments, which then that causes turmoil in your relationship with co-parenting and stuff like that. But because if you're not paying on time, we got daycare bills to pay. Like, I can't be sending our kids to daycare if you're not willing to pay and stuff like that. So now it goes through the court system. So it's kept track of, I guess you could say.
So how do we get to the point where, so like you hear a lot of men say, well, shit, I'll take care of my kid. I don't have to have a judge or a court involved. So how do we get, because you were married.
Yeah.
You were married, and these children are from your husband or ex-husband now.
Yes.
So how do we get from a point of having to garnish his wages? Like, what was the disconnect, in your opinion, that...
I think it was how he felt about me, and being like, if we were in fights and things, like, it had nothing to do about our daughters. Sure. It was just about, like, me. Well, he's mad at me, so, I've got a check for you, I'll get it to you whenever, and then it just keeps, going and going and going until finally it was just like, you're not really going to take care of our kids. Like, you need to step up to the plate. And so then my lawyer just said, you know what, then the courts are going to do it. They're going to garnish his wages, and then he doesn't have a choice whether or not to pay you. And, it's nice. Like, there are people I know that their ex gives them a check and pays them when they're supposed to on time, and there are those people that just do it because they know it's the right thing to do for their kids. But then there are those people that need that structure or that motivation, like, I got to pay my child support.
Got you.
But there will be consequences.
So you felt like you had to do it. Like, he wasn't doing it on his own. You felt like
he was for a while, and then, like I said, our relationship has been, back and forth, over the years, and so it just came to a point where, like, I felt like I didn't have a choice, and my lawyer's the one that encouraged me to, say, we're just going to do a wage assignment, and that's it, and then you'll just get paid. But then when he's self-employed, or he owns his own business, then that's another level.
So how does that affect you?
Because he's in charge of payroll. So because most people, when their wages get garnished, somebody else is in charge of cutting the checks, but he cuts his own check.
Yeah.
So it's been a sticky situation at times, but
yeah. Damn. Okay. Kathy, what's your experience with child support, and what misconceptions do you think we have?
I think some misconceptions that some individuals would have is that the woman's really trying to take advantage of the guy, which is absolutely not true in my case.
Well, not in your, okay.
In my case, it's not true because when me and my ex-husband were married and we were going through the court process, I was like, okay, they did the wage verification for both of our incomes, the same thing, and the amount was $266. Now, mind you, we have 2 kids together, and he said, I'm not signing the paper, this is too much. But we emailed the paperwork to him before the court, and obviously he didn't read it. He was upset. I'm not paying that. So I'm like, oh my God. I just want to get through it, get over with it, and just move on. But he just figured it was too much.
So how do you think we got to a point to where you had to go to the court? Is he not trying to really kick in on his own?
Well, the whole structure, I wanted that structure to kind of like give him some parameters.
Yeah.
My main thing is him spending time with the kids. That's it. I want you to spend time with the kids. And so I told my lawyer, okay, well, what do I do? And she said, well, maybe he just can't claim him on his taxes and he doesn't pay child support. I was like, okay, we've been going back and forth with this. Yes, fine. I agreed to it so he doesn't have to pay child support, but he can't claim them on his taxes ever. And so the following year he did. He tried, and he was like, well, that's not fair. And ever since then, I mean, he just been dabbling in and out in their lives. It's like, I really just want you to spend time with the kids. We don't even have to deal with this whole money situation.
Right.
Just spend time with them. I stayed in the same city within 5 minutes from him just so that he wouldn't have an excuse to say, well, you never let me see the kids, or you live too far away. I wanted to make it so easy for him, you know, and convenient for him. So there's women out there that don't try to take advantage of men, that really just genuinely want their ex-husband or their baby's father to be in their life. That's it.
Yeah. That is part of the narrative for sure, because I've said it before too, because I've known a lot of friends that have, like, been taken advantage of or put in really tough positions because of it. But I'm always on the outside of that. I don't really know what's going on or the inner workings of it. But has it been a challenge to get your ex-husbands to spend time with your kids on a normal basis?
It's like pulling teeth. It's like pulling teeth. And, you know, he says, in the past, he said, well, because they look like you.
No shit.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, the last time I checked, I did carry them for 9 months. So I'm like, what do you think they're supposed to look like? But he always would come up with some type of excuse as to not to spend time with
Because you hear
them.
girls say that sometimes. I've never heard a man be like, oh, you look like your mother.
Because if you saw my 2 daughters, they are blonde hair, blue eyed. They look nothing like me. I mean, they are their spitting image of their father, and all the wrong that he's done me or whatever, that would have no impact on. I mean, I look at them, those are my kids. I'm fortunate enough that he does spend time with our girls, and that was part of, like, you know, when we went through our divorce, because we had to get, you know, all that stuff, and we went through, like, custody and all of that kind of stuff, that, you know, he wanted time with them. So that's, like, one thing I feel thankful for, that he does spend time with our kids. And that's another thing with the child support, is that you get credit, like a father gets credit for the overnight visit. So how it's just overnights, I think it is, overnight credits. But how much time you spend with your kids, the less money you have to pay.
Less money, exactly. And it was 2 days. It was Saturday, like on the weekends, and then Wednesday nights.
Wednesday nights, yep, that's always the...
And I'm like, you can have them 5 days a week.
Yeah.
We live in the same neighborhood.
So as mothers, y'all are saying, like, we're cool with y'all spending more time with them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times, you know, it gets real confusing because this is barbershop talk, dog. Like, we talk bad about bitches and talk about how we go hard on them and talk about how they take advantage of shit. You know, this is my language, right? With my friends and my male counterparts, this is how we talk. But if you're really going to approach a subject, not just because it's inflammatory, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm saying just because it is a very big subject that has a lot of nuance to it, and there's a lot of different, like, moving parts. You know, because you guys are in a different situation, like women who were married, who were wives, and then the situation goes awry. That is completely different than someone else who's using the system and gaming the system. You know what I mean? But that gets lost. Just like a father who's a clear deadbeat. You know, that gets lost between a man who wants more time with his kids and wants to, you know, do more and spend time with them and whatnot. So, I mean, I think that's the most important part, you know, to hear y'all's perspective about, you know, y'all's experience. Because so how does it get to a point where, because you would think, and I guess I say this because I sound real ignorant, but when I was married for a long time. And then when things go bad, it was always, okay, I get the boys X amount of time. Okay, you need some money for something, you know what I mean? I'll help you with it. If I can't help you with it, my mom and daddy will help you with it. We're going to make sure you're not doing without. And that was always like even if there was times I didn't fuck with her at all, and she didn't fuck with me at all, but that was always just a given, that this is about the children. I can't have my mother's, you know, I can't talk about it. messing up my words.
That's because, but I think that speaks to like your character, that you have good character, and that you're putting your kids first. Like that's what so many people. It's, you know, they think, oh well, it's because she's mad at him or because he cheated or you know they did this and that or the other. So you're trying to punish them, and no, it's all about the kids and what's.
But people lose that.
Exactly.
Focus. They lose that whole focus and say it's not about the kids. Now it's about me.
Yeah.
I want it to be about me, or you did this.
For real.
So they lose that focus down the line, and that's where our children start acting a certain type of way.
And I got personally drugged through social media by one of his relatives because he did something that got him in some trouble, and so he only nothing to do with my children. It was just his personal life, and so he got supervised visitation. You know, 1 hour a week for a long ass time is all he got to see our littlest.
Oh no!
And for whatever reason, the judge kept. Yeah, our system. Just let me make this clear. Our system is flawed, like for sure. Like I think it's not centered around the kids. Like, you know, and I do think there is a driving force now to give fathers more time, which I think is great. But there are those instances where if you're busted for, let's say, doing drugs, whatever it is, and you lose that time, like then I got drugged through the mud by one of his relatives saying that I was keeping, you know, the baby from him and all this stuff, and it pissed me off because, you know, that's not in my character, you know, that's not the reputation I want people to have is, no, I'm just mad about because he cheated or whatever. No, it's about the safety of the children I gave birth to. And just because one judge says, no, we can keep the older one, but the other one's got to be supervised visits. I mean, shit doesn't make sense sometimes. Like, it doesn't. But that was one thing that really, like, and then...
So the judge just does that proactively?
So we had... because we were, I don't care. I keep it real. So we were married with our first daughter.
Right.
And so we had a separate, she was in a separate circuit 7 or whatever it is with the courts. So then with our next daughter, we were divorced when we had her. So they're like 2 different circuits, 2 different judges, 2 different cases. So when my attorney filed a motion, was like, here, you know, this is what's happened. He's, you know, done this. And, you know, this judge has said, you know, his parental rights are being severed for the time being until he can get his life together. And the other judge said, no, he's good. So it's just...
Oh, so it was like not really your decision per se. It's more of like the court just...
It wasn't my
now
decision.
That you're in the court, now that you done brought the man in your business, it's the wheels turn on their own.
Yeah, it wasn't my decision to do that. But also, I was okay with it because... I care about my kids first, you know, and that's why it pissed me off when my name was being drugged. They're like, oh, you're just mad because of this and that. It's like, no, I care about these 2 little girls that mean more to me than my life itself. And he needs to do what he needs to do to get better. And then, you know, like right now, like all is good.
Right on.
You know, he's on track. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And so,
I can dig that. Plus, the nature of the charge is nobody's business. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying. 100%, man. So I can get why you would say that in that case.
He's never done, like, harm to my children whatsoever. It's just, I think people you need to be right with yourself in order to raise your kids. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's a fair point for sure. But, you know, I guess one of the major things I was saying before I got tongue twisted was, what's the breakdown, do you think, like, where you can't keep the civility there between just, you know, we just don't fuck with each other no more. And it's hard initially, but what is it about us just not being with each other that prevents us from being civil?
We went through a lot of shit together. I don't know. We actually had like a long heart-to-heart like a couple months ago, just saying like, you know, with everything that's gone on like in our lives, like in my personal life, like with my parents' health and things like that, you know, like I can't handle the stress of dealing with what I'm, you know, have going on over here with things with you. So let's just get to a point like we don't have to be best friends. like, as long as you're paying your child support and you're helping out, like, you know, in our court documents it said, you know, splitting extracurricular activities 50-50, and, you know, he didn't want to do that, and I'm just like, that's fine, whatever, I'll pay it because I want my kids to have the opportunities that I had growing up. But I just finally said, we just have to come to a point where it is about these two little girls, and whatever you did to me in the past, whatever you think I did to you, let's just, you know, so it's been...
Yeah.
But not everybody can, and who knows what it'll be like tomorrow.
Damn, man. Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kathy? How come y'all just can't be cool? How come people can't be cool?
I mean, the foundation, I say, for me, is respect. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people lose that. And, you know, with me and my ex-husband, we were trying to co-parent, you know, and yes, he wasn't spending time with them on Wednesdays, and he wasn't taking them on Saturdays, and sometimes he'd see them every 3 months. So I was just like, you know, I was being very lenient. And I want to say about 6 years later, I started dating. Like, I mean, I had dated, but he saw me on a date.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking to myself, you know,
After 6 years.
After 6 years, you would think.
Kathy.
After 6 years, you would think that things would be kosher. So I saw him out, and he saw me out, and I said hi. I just waved, just out of respect, because, I mean, we had children together. Yeah. And he popped up at the house, and then the individual that was there, he shot his car. That's when it doesn't work.
Hold on, so y'all hadn't messed around in the whole 6 years, though? In the whole 6 years, y'all hadn't messed around at all?
Never went out on a date.
Nothing.
We weren't physical. We didn't kiss. We didn't hug. Nothing. Not even a little bit.
For real?
I'm done. Absolutely. Nope.
All right.
You can be giving me that look because I made that mistake.
I'm not
you?
going to make
Oh,
that
yeah.
mistake. I mean,
I'm
not going to do that.
I didn't, man. After
I
when
can't.
it was done, man, just like, no.
You're done.
I'm going to have another kid if I do. Keep on just shooting it in there. That's what happens.
Yeah. I was, with me, it was hard to break that. I didn't want to believe because it hit me like a Mack truck. I mean, I didn't see it coming, like that he was having an affair or whatever. It was just, so it took me like several months, and then, you know, he was like, no, it was nothing. So I didn't want to believe it because you want to like have your family together and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have that stupid.
He's going to change.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, 2,
Right.
3, 4, 5. Okay, now
Exactly.
You're going to have to stop.
I just need a chance. I just need another chance.
The last time was the time I was like, I'm about to prove a point. You know, if he's with the side chick still, like he's, you know, once a cheater, always a cheater, that kind of a thing. And I did, and then baby number 2.
Oh no, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my ex-husband were pretty cordial when it came to our separation. Like he was like, okay, all for it.
Yeah.
You know, he helped me find my place. He helped me move. So we had that understanding.
Right.
6 years down the line, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So
like, what was y'all? Were you guys really didn't plan the other baby? What was the conversation about
Playing
that?
it?
About
No,
the baby,
sir.
and you guys weren't together
No,
either.
sir.
So how did that? How was the call?
It was not good.
Oh shit.
Not good. No, I remember I was actually drinking a glass of wine on the phone with my friend. My daughter, our oldest, was with him, you know, the weekend. I was like, I don't feel right, you know, whatever. And I remember it was Martin Luther King Jr. because we were off work. And I was like, no. I started thinking, I'm like, oh, no. And I just was like going through my bathroom stuff. I was like, I have one more test left over. And I took it. I fell to my knees.
Oh shit.
And was like, oh gosh.
How many tests did you take?
Oh, I went straight to, I called the doctor. I'm like, somebody needs to see me now. There's something wrong with me. And they're like, something's wrong with you. I'm like,
there's a positive pregnancy test.
there's a positive. And when I went to the doctor, and when she, you know, you're pregnant. And I just was whoosh, waterworks, because his reaction was, go kill yourself. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be good.
Did you think that it would, like, having a baby would help things?
I didn't want it.
You were just not on your deal?
No.
You weren't on your deal?
No.
Oh, no.
It was a total incomplete.
That's what happens, though. When we shoot one in there, that's what happens.
My parents.
You got it buns in the oven. That's what happens when we shoot it in.
But I had to, since I had a miscarriage, and like for our oldest, I'd had to be on medications to like continue a pregnancy. I wasn't even like thinking like that. So, and then when I went to the doctor and I was like, well, I haven't been on medication, so I'm not going to be able, and they're like, no, you're good. Your blood levels, everything is good. And I was like, wow. I think the phone call to my parents was probably the hardest.
You guys were in like a weird spot though, where you
yeah.
kind of broke up, but you're still fucking around trying to figure it out.
One time.
Oh, it was only one time?
Uh-huh.
Oh, impressive.
Isn't that impressive?
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, like my friends at work were like, you know how that shit happens, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And
What'd your mom and dad say?
Yeah.
my mom asked if she could have a Xanax.
Holy shit, I bet.
I said, what's the worst thing I could tell you right now? And she was like, you have cancer. And I was like, no, I don't have cancer. And then I said I was pregnant, and she was like...
It's just as worse.
She's like, are you guys getting back together? And I was like, nope. And she was like, thank you, Lord. And then she's like, now I got to step outside and call your father because he wants to know why I came over here. And I was like, oh, no, not the father, not my dad. I went and hid upstairs as a grown-ass woman just because... You know, he was like,
just that luck.
Should learn from your mistakes. My dad was like, you know, when I told you to be nice to him, I didn't mean for you to be that nice.
Right.
Like, y'all can get along, but...
Easy.
Yeah, but, I mean, I wouldn't change having her for the world. And, I mean,
Yeah.
I just made that just complicated everything 10 times more.
Yeah.
So, it's just...
Damn, man.
It's life, but...
Yeah, that's interesting. Fuck.
4 years later, still wrapped up in court shit.
So, like, is it just child support court shit?
Child support, then we ended up having to go to mediation over stuff like, you know, splitting extracurricular activities, you know, because that stuff gets expensive. I mean, it's, you know, my parents were helping out. Everything's expensive. And then he wanted more time, which is, like, when I hear, it just makes me sad when I hear people say that they're, you know, their kids' fathers or mothers, because there are moms I know that have pieced out of their kids' lives and stuff like that, so it isn't just dads.
Yeah.
But he wanted more time, and I do get that selfish feeling of sometimes, like, I'll admit, like, well, no, because I never expected to not have my kids every day of my life, and that just, you know, so we figured some stuff out for the summertime since I'm off as a teacher that would give him more time with the girls and stuff like that. So now we just gotta finish up the child support, like the numbers. If your ex knew how much mine has to pay, he'd be...
I do not like going in and out of court. I try to stay just far away. 'Cause that was the last time getting a divorce and dragging that out.
Yeah.
Why you gotta pay so much?
Well, because it's based on, like, they look at his income, so he obviously makes a lot more than I do, especially, you know, as a teacher and stuff like that. So the more you make, and I do have the girls a little bit more than he has them, so that also is a factor in it. So he, you know, like, our daycare is ridiculous, like $1,500 a month for daycare for 2 little girls. I mean, that's like a mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like
Yeah. That's
So,
about right, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy shit, man.
It's completely crazy. So we're right now in the process of, since our oldest is going to go to kindergarten, obviously daycare fees are going to go down, so child support's going to change. It would be nice if we could just say, you know, you pay for this, you pay for that, but it just doesn't, like, relationships turn, you know, somebody's mad at somebody, and then...
Yeah, that's that bullshit.
I know.
Ugh. So your dude, you're just like, man, yeah, you good, just fuck off, homie.
I'm like, look, I can work 3 jobs. It's okay. I'll take care of them.
Damn.
I know.
That's me. You don't want to spend time with them? Okay, they have family. They have a grandmother, and me and his mom are close, which is great.
That's good.
Oh, that's awful for him, though.
Yeah, but that's,
Awful
I mean,
for
it,
him.
it shows something because, I mean, even now she still calls me her daughter. So we have a very good relationship and a very good understanding. And, you know, the frustrations I do have, you know, I just kind of, she vents to me and I vent to her about it. So I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want the drama. And she's pretty much kind of the mediator in between now since the whole incident happened between me and him.
At what point though, like, cause both y'all had issues with like restraining orders and shit. Is that like shit y'all are still, like the remnants of that? Y'all are still dealing with that with the person?
No, like mine, it's been over a year, so of course you have to renew it, and so he didn't bother me that whole entire period, which was great. You know, just spend time with the kids, and so his mom, you know, felt kind of the stressor because she had to be in between communicating, and I had to take the kids over there, and at times he didn't even know the kids were at his mom's house because it was just me and her talking, saying, hey, you want to see the grandkids? She wanted to see her grandkids. But, you know, we live in the same area, and then I'm willing to drive all the way downtown 30 minutes. That way you have to drive downtown 30 minutes because you made it hard for us to really just co-parent, and we're like in the same area. So I don't want no drama. I don't want no issues. I just, you know, let's respect each other. We're both adults.
The restraining order thing with me, that definitely was a stressor, and that pissed him off real bad. And like you said, like then when there's no communication for a year or 2 years or whatever, you know, the judge ends up granting you, then my parents had to be the ones to go meet him at Quick Trip at a public place.
Damn, like how does it get that bad though?
Because you can't be,
Or it'll null and void.
But I mean, to where you need a restraining order for somebody, like, man,
when your
I need you
life
to stay.
depends on it, that's when it's necessary.
Did you feel that way too?
mine was, what he did to me was in front of our daughter.
Oh.
I obviously wasn't like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that there weren't times that I haven't been scared of him and things like that, because I feel like I can kind of hold my own.
Yeah.
But the incident that occurred that last time, the second time or whatever, it happened in front of our daughter.
Oh.
And that was, and she still remembers it till this day and
And
talks
that
about it
prompted.
and stuff like that. And
My kids remember it too.
oh yeah, and it did, the things that he said, like, did, you know, I worried, and so that did make things way worse for us, way worse. And he still holds a grudge till this very day of, you know, that I had a restraining order against him.
Damn. So y'all kind of dealt with like domestic, obviously, issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man. It's not what's up.
Yeah.
Not what's up at all. Because that takes a toll. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm not, like, people are probably going to watch this. Like, dude, I was a shitty husband in spots. It's not, you know what I mean? Let's not pretend like I wasn't. But I'm just trying to, families are important to me, and especially since my ex passed away, I'm understanding like how important it is for my kids. I'm just really lucky. Like you said, your parents help you a lot.
Yeah.
My parents helped me a lot. So my kids got 3 parents always. So they're not really at a deficit. They are, because they don't have a mom, but they've got 3 people that still love them, and they get that feminine energy from my mother. You know, it's something I can't do as well as her, obviously. But it seems like child support, family court, like that's just the norm. That if I fuck with somebody, we're gonna end up in some sort of court or some shit on a serious level, which is unfortunate. If you're single and you still want to have a relationship with somebody, like you would think like fuck up your psyche. But you said you would get married again.
Absolutely, I would get married again.
You would do that shit again?
I would.
Damn, why? Why
I
do
mean,
you say?
so for
But good
me,
for you,
it's
Kathy.
been such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been such a long time. Like, maybe you're in a situation that you've been in it a little bit more recent than me. But
Right.
me, it's been since 2013. It's like everything finalized in 2013. I moved out February 2nd,
That's only 5 years
2011.
ago. That's not
2011 was the last time I was in the house, same house that we
okay.
bought. And after that, yeah. I mean, time passes and you're like, you know, you had your fun. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, but you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, my kids are at an age where they're a lot older. I mean, they'll be out the house in about 6 years. So if it happens,
Right.
that's great. You know, we'll be a blessing to each other.
You're not looking for that per se, though. You're just chilling.
Mhm.
Right. Are you jaded?
No.
No?
You want me to be jaded? Is
No.
this part of it?
Do I want you to be jaded?
I'm jaded.
No. Not if you're
I
not.
can admit it.
Is it? No.
Not if you're not.
I mean, that experience in itself was that experience with that individual.
Right.
That's the thing. It's an isolated situation with that individual. And yes, we went through things and we fought and we had our quarrels and everything like that. But, you know, I can't carry that on and make it unfair for the next individual. That could, I mean, be a great person for me. So
Yeah,
No.
I can get that. But I mean, shit, I think I'm a little jaded. And when I say jaded, it's just you're a little bit more illuminated as to the man and female, man-woman dynamic from my perspective, right? So it's not a matter of me being bitter towards women per se, but having a better understanding of what it is in like a relationship, like a long-term context. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. Like anybody I were to meet new, yes, I'm paying attention, and goddamn it, I've got like a mental thing going. Like I'm sizing, you know what I mean? Like you're sizing the person
I
up.
mean,
Like
that comes with like
fuck are you
any
on?
relationship you have, whether it's a friendship that you develop or a business partnership. You try to analyze those types of relationships, regardless, just with your own intimate
Right.
personal relationships. That's a natural thing, you know, because you never know. Even when it comes to like a business partnership, you know, you could have a business partner that completely drops the ball and throws you under the bus at the same time. So that comes with any situation. So you have to kind of look at things like, okay, this person may be this way or this person may be this way, and this is a certain type of relationship that we have right now.
Yeah,
But not
sure.
jaded, not. You just have to be logical about certain things.
Yeah, and I only say that because I do see a lot of times we repeat the same shit with the same people.
Yup.
So that's what I mean, right? Like jaded is not so much as jaded as it is aware that you should. I guess I'm aware. I'm not about to be in that same dumb shit I was in. Not no more. But what do you think? You wouldn't get married?
Hell no.
Yeah, why not?
Well, my kids are younger. You know, I have 5 and a 2-year-old, and they monopolize, obviously, my time, and that's who I put first. And I am a little bit jaded, and then people that I've chosen to be in relationships with, they've ended up being, like, the typical,
What?
like we were talking about earlier. It's
What?
like when my parents are like, from the
Oh
jump.
yeah.
It's like I have this pattern or something like that.
Because you have a certain type of
Yes.
person that you're attracted to, and
Right.
you have to be aware of
Yep.
that kind of person. And you know, sometimes you
What's the type of person?
it depends on the individual. Like, I mean, you could be like, oh, okay, well, you know, he's gone through the similar experiences in life, so he can understand me versus like meeting some dude that goes from another background. I mean,
You want a dude on like a Harley Davidson with a black leather jacket?
Hell no.
A black leather jacket,
No.
a James Dean character.
Ew, no.
My dad hates him, so I love him.
I know, right?
you passed.
I'm my dad's worst nightmare ever.
Like the fuck is this?
That's why he's like, you got 2 girls, that's your karma. No, that's not my type at all. My friends are all like, you have a type, but
So you got a dude you're talking to now?
yeah, I am
Okay.
talking to somebody now. He's completely different than any guy I've ever
That's cool.
dated before. Like, he's normal, he's nice.
Ugh. You know,
I know,
like
right?
that,
I know.
Fuck outta
Like you
here.
said, he's normal.
He's nice.
Right.
No.
So she's just playing like she's just biding time with this fucking guy. It's fine.
Normal and nice is great.
I know, my
It
friend-
ain't that great.
I mean,
Then my friends are like, you're gonna fuck it up because you're gonna be too bored because you got this attitude and you're this and you're that and you have to have a challenge and you
so
need
maybe
somebody
you do
that
have a type.
I know.
So that might actually
Like
be the
nice,
case.
like
You want some spontaneous and just call you in the middle of the night and say, hey, let's go somewhere exciting.
I can do that.
Okay.
As long as I'm not sleeping with my kids in my bed. Yeah.
I mean, everybody has a type. You just have to recognize what that looks like.
I'm Harley Davidson.
I'm just saying, like the, you know what I mean, the stereotypical. I want a rebel. I don't want this nice shit. Fuck out of here, that gross shit. Ugh.
I don't necessarily want, like, it's hard because you, like, and this is me or whatever, but, like, you want somebody who's nice and, like, respectful, but then also you don't want somebody that's, like,
I mean,
there are some people that could tend to be
right.
like a doormat, you know, and then it's easy for people to, like, with a strong personality, like I have a strong personality that I can tend to be a little bossy. Maybe it's a teacher in me. I don't
And if
know.
he's listening, it's like immediately a turn off. Like, this fucking guy. Yeah, Miss Wood, whatever you say, ma'am. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go? What would you like to watch, Miss Wood?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here with that nice guy dumb shit. Y'all motherfuckers be losing with that shit. I be trying to tell them. Be trying to say, like, it don't work. Like, it's nice, but yeah.
And then you get cheated on by the dudes that are the other kind that are like, oh, this is exciting, and then you get cheated
You
on.
can get a little bit of balance, ladies. That's all I'm saying.
balance is always good.
Balance is always good.
Balance is good.
I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Yeah, somebody nice, but can scare you a little bit. Not too bad.
I don't want that shit.
So no kids though? You wouldn't have no kids though. You're done with the kids, right, Lindsay? No. You said you would have kids again.
I'm done with the kids.
old.
I'm done.
I'm old. I started late in the game. Like, when my friends were all having kids and stuff, I was like, I still got some stuff to get out of my system. You know, like, I need to,
Get that
you know,
poison
so,
out.
yeah, I started late in the game. So when all the other young teachers are walking down the hall with their little baby bumps like this, I was like, oh, I don't know. This sucks being this old and being pregnant. But, I mean, my ex he just had a baby with his girlfriend. And so now my daughters have a sibling, you know. And that part of me is like, I feel like I kind of miss out on, I don't know, like seeing them with a sibling. Like, my baby is not a baby to him, but she's a baby. I don't know. And then I can see baby on Facebook. That's like the end all of life. You see all these baby pictures, and you're like, oh,
Baby fever.
Yeah.
Baby fever.
I
Y'all be
have
ruining
a-
our
I have a
lives with
niece.
that shit.
I have a niece, and yeah, that's exciting enough.
See?
You give her back.
But yeah,
Borrow her, give her back. Yeah.
What do y'all think like could change with the child support system from y'all's perspective? You just said like, fuck dude, I don't even care about it. That's very rare.
I don't care. I mean, it's
Leave me,
just,
you're staying away, perfect.
yeah. I mean, I tried the whole situation where, hey, the kids need something, you know. And I remember one year when it was back to school, and I'm like, hey, can you help me out on getting some school supplies? I was like, I got everything. Just get them a backpack. He was like, a backpack? I'm like, a backpack. It was just a backpack. And I was like, you know what? Backpack. I'm thinking,
I gotta meet this guy. I like this guy already. He's shooting up people's cars. He has a problem with
A
backpacks and
backpack.
shit. I like this guy.
a backpack. Matter of fact, I will tell you exactly how much they cost at whatever specific location
Oh
you want to be
no, that's why you was like, man, fuck it, dude. I'm
at.
straight.
If I gotta twist your arm for a backpack, okay.
He said it with an attitude too. A
A
backpack.
backpack.
Bitches be asking for everything.
Don't they got a backpack from last year? Do you know what they do with their backpacks? Kids be dragging them.
That's
I'm
wild.
like,
And, like, is he out buying stuff for himself? Like, that's where I have a problem is when, like,
that's not,
That-
you know, I don't care what he does with his money. Just take care of the kids.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but if he's out there spending money on himself and then he's like a backpack, I mean, that's a necessity. Like, you need to have a
For
backpack.
school.
You're not asking
Yeah.
for some Gucci shoes for him or something. Like, it's a backpack.
I mean, he here's the thing with him. Like, he hasn't spent hardly any time with the kids, so
Right.
he doesn't know their taste now. And our son, I mean, he's a teenager, and then our daughter, she's preteen. And so he did buy our son some clothes, and, you know, my daughter, she's not picky. But he bought some clothes that was kind of his style,
Yeah.
and my son will not wear those clothes. He says he doesn't even know me.
How's your son?
He'll be 14.
Oh, damn, man.
He'll be 14. And my son will not wear those clothes to this day. And he's upset at me like, well, you need to tell him to wear them clothes. Maybe you need to spend a little bit more time with him just to kind of figure out exactly what he likes to wear instead of just picking out everything for him. So,
Damn.
yeah, he was upset about that.
So what do you think should change?
There's a lot that needs to change. I mean, I think our system is, and the guy I'm talking to, he's a divorced father also, but there's so many things that need to change just because the system, it is flawed, and I think it needs to be more kid-centered, and all the parent bullshit needs to be off. I mean, I have a friend from high school that, her son's 21, and she hasn't seen a penny his whole life. And how you can get, and she's been a hustler like you. She's worked 2-3 jobs since she was 17, 18 years old. And this guy's out, partying, doing his thing or whatever. She never saw anything from him. And then, when she'd finally get to the point where it was, okay, garnish your wages, he'd quit that job or move somewhere else. Like, he was always pulling slick shit. I mean, till this very day.
Oh,
the amount of money he owes her is just... it's asinine. It's ridiculous.
And she still doesn't get any...
She hasn't seen a dime.
Damn. Yeah.
So there are, and there's guys that there, and, I know that there, there's women that have lost custody of their kids. Dads are raising them, they're doing it on their own and stuff like that. So I just think, I don't know what needs to happen, but the fact that this kid is 21 years old and his dad never did anything for him, just...
Has he ever seen him or anything?
He's been in and out of his life. Mostly out. I mean, his mom basically raised him on her own with her mom.
Damn. That's fucked up, man.
Yeah. But he's still, he's such a kind-hearted kid that he still wants to have that relationship with his father, even though he knows his father's done his mother wrong, and he knows, he's a deadbeat dad in essence, but he's still, in his eyes, that's his dad, so, but that's a tough...
Yeah.
I think it needs to go both ways. Because I have male friends that, have custody of their children, and one individual, he had his son 4 days a week, and he still had to pay child support. And I was like, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
That's not fair for you.
He had him 4 days a week and still had to pay?
Still had to pay. And I'm thinking, well, why don't you just take her to court? Why are you paying for child support when you have the kids majority of the time? That's not fair, and that shouldn't happen.
I agree completely.
So, I think that it really needs to be structured around the kids. And, the same thing. I mean, it does have to work both ways. Either if you're going to have the child 50% of the time, you have the child 50% of the time. I mean, you should be able to co-parent and be able to pull your resources. I mean, because that's really what you're doing. I honestly really didn't like the idea that, okay, the court has to come into it when we can really just kind of, let's negotiate and talk about this. Okay, well, you have the kids on this holiday and you have to deal with this, or I have the kids on this holiday, or this year you'll buy the school supplies, next year you'll buy the school supplies. Can we communicate on those lines? And I think that's how it really should be, but that's
too easy, right? That's what I was saying.
World.
Even we feuded. I didn't want my children's mother out here struggling. So if I couldn't get it, I'd find a way to get it. That wouldn't be an issue. But damn, it seems uncommon that we're able to make it happen like that for real.
Well, there are those women out there that give a lot of us a bad name that are getting child support and still want more and more and more for whatever it is, and that's not okay. I know if I want my daughter to play soccer and to dance, I'm coughing up money too.
You have to.
You have to, and it's not one person's responsibility. I can't say, for me, I'm a teacher, you make so much more, so you pay her whole dance, no. I have to step up, and whether, I have to get another job or, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to where my parents don't want me to do that. They want me to be with them
Your
or with my
kids.
kids. And so my parents stepped up to the plate, those times where we needed it, and they, financially contributed. But those women out there that are like, oh, I can't do that, or I can't pay that, or, that stuff makes me mad, because it does give a lot of us a bad name, that it's just like, oh, I just want your money.
So if you wanted to be real nasty, like, the system would let you do it.
I think, like, with the, like, events and stuff, like costs and splitting, like, other things,
Yeah.
I think it can get ugly, on that downside. But as far as, like, it's black and white on this form. It's like, how much do you make? What do you pay in taxes? Like, I just filled out the forms the other day. Like, he makes X amount of money, I make X amount of money, and then it's, like, figuring in, daycare and stuff like that, and then it's like, this is what you pay.
Yeah.
So I don't know how,
So that portion of it, in your opinion, is cool. Because I don't know shit about it. You know what I mean? So that portion of it is cool. Because a lot of dudes have been saying that portion of it, like the equation that they use, they feel is like
it's
almost
unfair.
Yes, which is something I don't have any experience with, but
so that makes me wonder
Yeah.
if it's like people like for instance her ex that aren't spending that time, and if they don't get those overnight credits, then they're gonna be paying more. Whereas it's like, if you spend more time with your child.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, shit, okay.
3.5 days out of the week. Let's split
Okay.
it up half and half.
What's that?
It's like,
Say something, G.
The other part of that equation is they factor in the woman's income. So a lot of dudes get mad because the woman's not trying to work.
oh, I see.
Oh, which is true.
See,
Yeah.
here's the thing. So it's totally
Yeah.
different. Like, women who were working,
Yeah.
that were wives, and then they had child support because the relationship goes awry, is totally different than a baby's mother who's steadily on the teat of the government. It seems like they go after those men with a vengeance. Almost like with...
Oh yeah, I
If they're
had
not
to
working,
show my income for sure. Yeah.
And I was just doing like the equation, basically factoring in, because I might have a new job, and basically factoring in what her income, if she starts working another job or she stops working, what my pay would be, and it's drastically different.
See, and that's the other thing I struggle with too, is if your kids are old enough to be like in school, or like, even mine are in daycare. I could be staying home with my 2-year-old, but that's not financially responsible. Like, they're my kids too, so I also need to step up to the plate.
You got goals.
So I have an issue with girls who don't have job, like, they can be going
And
out
there's
there.
a lot of them.
I know, and they could be
mean,
going out there and getting a job or
know.
doing what they need to do, and not be just relying on my baby daddy to give me
Right.
this check each month
100%.
or whatever. That's not okay.
And that's why I wanted y'all here specifically. And Bates, I wanted her here too, but she had an issue with like one of her children's recital. But she's gonna come also. Is that there's a complete difference between when I talk about single motherhood negatively. It's not women that were wives that are now having to figure shit out because the marriage didn't work. It's a specific thing with the culture of it, where women obviously are using the system to continue to live a particular lifestyle that only the system can provide you, like cheap housing, food stamps, and all that shit, which is fine if it's a stepping stone, but used as a tool, like, that shit is fucking horrible. And that's different from a woman that is trying to live and that you're not helping her with shit. Like, that's two completely different things. And they get talked about like they're the same, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
That's very true.
my friend that with the guy would either like get paid under the table with cash, or once like she was like, oh, he's at this job, like I'm finally gonna get it, and then he was like out the job and doing something different. Like those people are just.
Did he go to
scandalous
jail?
anyways.
Did he ever go to jail for this shit?
For when her son was little, she didn't want him in jail, and I'm like, put his ass in jail. Maybe he needs a reality check, but for some people, it's just like, when I'm in jail and now you done pissed me off, so I'm really not gonna give you money now. But no, for the women that just are like, no, I'm gonna collect my
Use
checks
and
and
abuse the
go get
system.
my nails done or whatever. Like you said, if it's a stepping stone, like I know people struggle and have hard times, but you also need to step up to the plate.
Sure.
And I've told people
Sure.
at school that we had a conversation like in the lunchroom, because somebody said something about not understanding how somebody could end up on the streets homeless or in a bad situation. I was like, let me just tell you right now, you all know how much we make as teachers, you know? and I have a mortgage to pay, I have a car payment, you know, if I want to get to point, you know, A to B, I've got daycare to pay, my kids and all this stuff. If it was not for my mom and dad, I would have lost all the time I was not getting money, and I still had to keep up my, you know, paying off, you know, student loans or whatever it is. Like, if it wasn't for my mom and dad, I don't know what
It's
would have
easy
happened.
to be homeless. Just fuck around. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's easy for some shit to happen and then you're out here like that. It's totally different. Totally different, man.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I really think it's a lot of the family dynamics and the upbringing, who's in your ear and saying certain things too. Because that plays a big part of, like, you know, your decision making. If you have someone hooping and hollering, oh no, I get this much, da 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 da.
Yeah,
you need to do
exactly.
This, and you need to go stand and, you know, then obviously, you know, birds of a feather flock together.
That's the culture, right? You're you're socialized on it because your mama's talking that shit, your auntie's teaching you. So you're not learning how to really fish. You're learning how to use what resources are in front of you. So it's natural to be like, hey, babe, you can go down there. And
that's all you know. And if
That's
that's
right.
all you know, that's all you're going to do. So if you don't know that you have options to do other things and make other decisions, and you always have people really, you know, telling you things in your ear, then yeah, that's gonna be a problem. You know, you have to be able to think for yourself and really kind of analyze the situation and get other people's opinions without really taking it all in. Like, okay, I'm gonna do exactly what you told me to do. You know, and just make your own decisions. But a lot of people don't like to think for themselves.
yeah.
They don't like to analyze situations. They just want the easy, quick fix. Okay, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I need to just do that. Okay, that's what I'm do.
Anything to not think, right.
Yeah.
And I think finally listening to my parents, you know, they're just like, the more you guys fight and argue and bicker about shit, it's just going to be, you know, just like, that's why we finally just, you know, let it go. So he and I can call each other, hey, like today I was like, I got to, you know, do something at 2 o'clock, you know, and he's like, well, I got to work, you know, drop him off with my dad. Like, that just makes huge, like, weight off my shoulders, you know, to be able just to co-parent like that and not worry about
And that's how it should
all
be.
the bullshit.
Right.
But it really is your environment. Like I'm a social worker, so
you see it all.
I see everything.
You see it all.
I've been a social worker for about 10 years, and I heard the stories. I've seen different perspectives, and I'm just looking like, really, okay, all right. That's, you know, I wouldn't do that, but that's on you. So with me and just trying to coach my clients and educate them, it's I see where that mentality of thinking comes from. A lot of it stems from who they're around.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's the struggle that, you know, as a social worker, I'm trying to re-educate folks and be like, okay, do you realize what's happening? And they're like, well, no, not really. And I'm like, okay, well, give me an example of somebody else, you know, trying to get child support. Well, she said she got this, and, you know, and I don't even have to work, and I can still get Section 8. And I mean, I hear it all. And so there's nothing that surprises me.
Right.
And I'm just like, wow, okay. Well, that's their mentality of thinking. And if you think a certain way, you start behaving and acting a certain way too.
Yep.
And that's why I think that when, like, some of those, like, comments from those guys, like, there are some angry men out there, too, because they, like, think all of us are like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Because their experience
because
is
their
so...
experience was so...
Yeah.
Because there are, you know, women that are like, you know, just, I'm not going to do anything. And then they think that, no, like, I should get child support because he does make more than me, but I am still working. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just...
So how long, your parents are still together, right?
Yes.
How long have they been together?
If I am, God, I'm 39, 43, 44 years.
Yeah, that's how long my parents, they've been like something crazy like that. Why do you think people our age haven't been able to keep our marriages together?
And
But our parents are
I
having
think
able to.
I think a huge thing now, like with the whole cheating thing, is like social media. Like, it's
think
easy
so?
to DM on Instagram and Facebook. And
Easy access.
Slide
You
in
think
them
so?
DMs.
Like, I just,
My philosophy on that is totally different.
I mean, I think
Mine
I
too.
think it's made it easier to do that. I mean, like with mine, it was like somebody in the workplace. You know, it wasn't like on social media or whatever. But like from other stories I've heard, it's been like oh, I saw this person, and we just started messaging and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, but I also think like the way you grow up. My parents both grew up in very strict, loving, like family households and stuff.
Mine
And
was different. My mom's been married over 6 times.
really,
So I'm just like,
Damn.
no, my parents amaze me because they've been through, I mean, my mom's like with all of her cancer stuff and surgeries, like my dad's been by her side. He has never left, you know, now that he's sick and she kind of has to take care of him and stuff. It's just, I don't know. What's your philosophy on cheating? I don't know.
Cheating?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, well,
Why
that's
do you-
easy. The cheating part.
Dan, well, tell me what.
Okay, well, the
Because
cheating.
I don't know why marriages don't work, because obviously mine didn't work because of that.
mine
It's
didn't.
definitely
I mean,
not-
He cheated, but it wasn't. I
It
was
ain't
just
the
like,
cheating.
okay, I forgive you. Let's keep going.
It ain't the cheating.
It wasn't, for me, it wasn't the cheating.
Because if a
No,
dude,
yeah.
For me, it wasn't.
it's different. Like, y'all will cheat. Some women do have a masculine quality that they'll fuck just like a guy. But and a girl will go through a phase where she wants to do that, right? Whether she just got out of a relationship and wants to do it, or she's young and she's free, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a hooker. Whatever she wants to do, right? Like, that's cool. But generally speaking, at least in my experience, is that women will cheat when they know they can hurt you with it. A man will cheat just because it's Tuesday. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Is that your philosophy too?
No, I was talking about my
Tuesday?
philosophy on why marriage is fair.
but like
Oh.
when like seriously,
like-
and I only say that out of
Because it's
experience.
Tuesday.
I only
Yeah.
say that because the times that I cheated as a husband, I was totally happy with her. There was nothing that she was doing wrong. She wasn't not
Because
sexy.
You just can. You just can.
Yeah.
That was.
It's different. It's a different. It all totally.
Women, it's like
Huh?
women do
Yeah,
it
cheating with
because
men is mostly just sex.
emotional. Like we want to feel
They're not getting that
connected.
emotional.
It's that emotional, and guys cheat just because you can. Okay, if I can do it, okay.
Well, you guys
I
can
mean,
do
I
it
don't know.
more, and you guys can do it more. You know, a girl can fuck way more than me. Gee, she can fuck way more than me, but she can't fuck who she wants to fuck way more than me. Well, she can, but she can't. No, let me back up. She can, but she can't get that person to love her. That's my point. Just because a guy fucks you doesn't mean he loves you.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
for sure.
you can fuck a million guys, but I can probably fuck like 5 girls. I can get one to love me. You know what I mean? I promise I can get one to love me. One. But you could fuck 20 men and none of them love you. Just because a guy's trying to get that off, which is not your fault. That's just the way it's built. So girls, like women, when you have a guy cheat on you, it's like, oh my God, he cheated on me. Like, it wouldn't matter. Think of Halle Berry. Think of the most beautiful women. Do you know? I know some gorgeous women. Doesn't matter. They've all been cheated on. Think of Halle Berry. She's been cheated on. Everybody's been cheated on.
Love Halle Berry.
Right. And somebody cheated on her and she's gorgeous.
I love Halle Berry.
There's tons of gorgeous. So yeah, it's not y'all.
I don't know why marriages don't.
Yeah, how come we
I don't know
can't?
if we value.
It all
Because
depends
it's easy to
on
get
the
divorced
people.
these days. That's
It's easy to get divorced.
also
That's
wild to
true,
get
but
married.
no, I had to pay for mine.
Wild to get
Out of
married.
pocket. That was rough. It wasn't that easy.
No, but like commensurate to like the rising rates of it, like it's easy.
True.
I can download the pay. Hell, I did.
True.
Because women don't want that shit for real. They don't want that shit in 2018. Not like that. Some of them may, most of them don't. They want the validation of it. Like you want your wedding day, your dress,
Oh,
your
the whole
daddy.
dream. My colors.
But you don't want to be married to one fucking dude. Ugh, that's not what y'all want. That's why I'm telling you, women are the main ones that get divorced. They're the ones that initiate the shit most of the time. Is that true? Did you initiate?
Yes.
See?
Well, because
Huh?
and we had other issues. I'm not gonna say our relationship was this fairy tale, whatever. I mean,
You had to
there
get the
was
fuck out of there, though.
some bullshit.
Lindsay was like, I'm out.
I like wrote a letter and I was like, if you don't do X, Y, and Z,
Ultimatum.
I'm not trying to be home and you strolling in the door at 6:30 a.m. when that's when I'm about to get up and we've got a baby at home, and like, if you want to smoke weed, that's fine, or you do whatever you guys do, but I don't want to like walk out in my living room. There's some random dude from Jimmy John's out there with you because like I'm back here in the bedroom with the baby. Like, what if you pass out? Like, that shit just is not okay. Like, there was just...
Him and the Jimmy John's dude was toking up. I like this guy. I like this guy.
I mean, like, it was just a multitude of things. Like, I am busting my ass as a teacher, as a mom.
So
you know,
if you cheated on him, how would that work out?
I'm sure she got back at him.
I mean, if he knew too, you know what I'm saying? Like
when I was pregnant with our daughter, this is why people tell you, like, after the fact, like, you know when they're already cheating on you because they accuse you of it. I was like big ass pregnant. He was talking some shit because he was drunk and had been playing golf or something, and I was like, I'm going to my parents' house. I am too fat and pregnant to be listening to your drunk ass. And he walked outside and he's like, I know you're cheating on me. And I said, who is gonna want to get with me, and who I don't want anybody touching me right now. And he's like, you're cheating on me. Well, then I come to find out, well.
So what if it was the case that he caught you cheating? Do you think that?
Oh, he would have lost his shit.
Because it's a different way when guys.
How could you?
You cheated on me? I can cheat on
I
you.
thought it was
10 times.
mine. You gave it away to another guy?
You imagine how it would work.
He would have lost his damn mind. As a matter of fact, after we were split up, and when he knew, like, guys were calling me or whatever, he would, like, message him or text him, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Guys
no.
are animals. I mean, probably
So
immediately dudes started calling, hey, so, what are you doing later?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Guys are animals.
They are.
So how many times did he cheat on you and you just was like, okay?
That was, now that I look back at it, there had to have been more times, because, like, when I was pregnant then, I only, after I left the letter of you need to do X, Y, Z, and I came home, and he's like, I'll do anything to make this family work, and, you know, for our marriage or whatever, and then, like, that next day I came over with, you know, our daughter, and he's like, so when are you getting the rest of your shit out? And I was like, oh, it's like that. And so when he left the house, he left a cell phone behind, and I just...
You went through it? Oh, no. You started calling numbers?
No, it popped up in my face, and I was like, oh, shit.
It didn't pop up when you was doing this right.
I got that code. No, I got that code. Come on now.
She said, I know she got the code. Talking about it popped up.
Because I was gone all weekend, so he wasn't deleting his messages. So he done left his phone, and I went, and it all just, and I was like, holy shit. So that was the only time, and I called my dad right then and there, and I said, come get my shit, come pack me up, let's do this.
Yeah, no, my ex-husband was pretty bold with saying he was cheating. He was pretty bold about it. I was like, oh.
Your ex-husband's a real savage. Here's my phone. Take a look at it. That's what I'm doing.
I'm like, you got 2 phones? This is our combined account.
Kevin Gates.
He had a bat phone.
He's like, look through it. And I'm like, damn. Golly, who's this? Oh, God.
You see what he said? Look at it. Go ahead and scroll through it. Like, bitch, scroll through it. I'm tired of you.
And
Scroll
I'm
through
like,
the
whose phone is
shit.
this? This is nasty. Oh, this is. And he's like, it's my phone. I said, it's what? Like, you found it on the ground and you picked it up, put it in your pocket. He was like, no, it's my phone. I was like, you found it, right? It's your phone.
You trying to give him an out. He's like, no.
No, it's in my name.
When my ex came, oh no,
Savage is a light word.
That is a light word for that.
This is your phone.
And he shot up a car, too.
I'm just like, woo!
Oh, man. Golly.
Damn, when my ex realized I done left my phone with that chick, he was
nice.
he was trying to get that
okay.
phone and get out of there because he knew my head was spinning.
Oh,
Like, I was like, who is she? Who's this and that? He couldn't get that phone out of my hands fast enough and drive off and get out of there because he knew some shit was about to go down.
Yeah, it didn't even. I'm trusting. I am very trusting, and I'm just like, still. That was then, but it was just like, wow, I can't believe this.
So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to cut it here. I know we can keep going. We're going to cut it here. And I'm probably going to bring y'all back, and y'all can talk to whatever 2 dudes if you guys want to do that, right? I'm not trying to have it like to be confrontational. I'm sure y'all will agree or disagree or whatever.
We can respectfully disagree.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. It'll be real cool. I'll make sure I have gentlemen here to discuss it with y'all. But thanks so much for taking the time. And I want to have y'all back, man. I appreciate y'all for coming. Anything y'all promoting or anything?
Kindness.
Huh?
She's kind.
She's promoting going into people's phones and punching in codes
Yeah.
and shit.
You gotta look at that lock code. I'm watching that lock code.
What are you? Anything you're promoting?
No, I got some events coming up this summer, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll just once I get those up and going.
And you just threw what event? What did you just throw?
Let's see. On Valentine's Day, I hosted a kind of like a burlesque and erotic poetry event for couples.
That's
I
cool.
wanted to promote, intimacy. So we had that at Casey Mingles, and so I did that. I'm going to do another session or another event sometime in June. So I have a different theme.
Okay.
Also, I'm helping Silks and Poles Aerial Fitness Studio, and we just finished up a concert at the Voodoo Lounge on the 23rd of last month. So we're going to have some more events that we're going to have.
Dig.
So, yeah.
That's what's up. So I appreciate y'all participating, man. We'll bring the dudes, and then we'll all sit down and have a discussion or whatever. All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be back.